Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining Redington's virtual sessions. Today's topic we have from Barracuda on securing your business during the COVID-19 crisis. The session will be driven by our senior pre-sales consultant, Mohan Kumar, who is based out of the KSA office. In case you have any questions during the session, I would request you to please put in all your queries in the Q&A tab, and Mohan will address them towards the end of the session. Mohan, you can begin.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. So today we're gonna see how we are helping to secure our business. So when we say business, I'm talking about the services which we are published. So as the crisis began, there is a increase of traffic hit, like people, those who are not using the online services now started using the online services, and the resources companies who are publishing their application or their servers, they haven't thought these type of hike in their mind, and the current infrastructure might not able to handle the current traffic. So let's see how we can help to secure their business or their applications. So as the crisis began, there are so many cyber attacks happens on the published web applications. So securing the web application, it become a very critical thing for any organization nowadays. So apart from this, what things the company has to secure, right? So people started working from home, so everyone has to secure how secure they're gonna give access to their remote users, and how secure they're gonna uh, for their email access, data, and the web application. In today's session, we're gonna see how to secure the web apps. So two things to consider. One is scaling, and other one is protecting. Scaling, it's like we'll have to manage the traffic or the increased number of users accessing the online resources. And at the same time, we'll have to make sure that is protected as well. Yes. So there are a few things we can do. One is like we can always have a CDN. CDN is a content delivery network. So Barracuda supports Azure and AWS CDN. So that is something we can easily deploy. So this will increase the scaling of the web application. And other things, people will be still using the on-prem infrastructure. So this might be a good option, or might be a option to move to the public cloud. So that way they can always increase their scalability. And as the user increase, the ultimate question is like how good are we to protect those from the hackers. So we need to make sure at least the web application it's protected from OS top 10 and DDoS attacks and advanced bots. So bots is something critical nowadays. So someone, simply for an example, online retail application or platform. So when users are trying to buy something, so there might be a competitor hiring a bot and simply adding the products in the carts. So what will happen? The genuine user who's trying to purchase genuinely from the site might not able to buy the same product. It might not consider as an attack, but it is for a genuine user. He might not able to fulfill whatever he requests. So company has to take steps like to detect all these types of bots. So let's see how Barracuda will help in this situation. So there is a main difference between IPS and the Web Application Firewall. So many organizations, they have their IPS enabled on their perimeter firewall, or they might have a dedicated IPS solution. So there is a difference between IPS, how it is protecting from the published web server. For cookie poisoning, SQL injection, and any type of cross-site scripting, the IPS can able to detect and prevent only if it is from a well-known signature. If the signature is matching from a signature database, then only it will able to detect it's SQL injection or cross-site scripting. Then it will block or drop the traffic. But the Web Application Firewall works in a different way. It will actually check not only the signature, it will also check how even if it is a targeted attack, or even if it is automated bot coming from a specific source, or even someone trying to do a brute forcing, or parameter tampering, or forceful browsing, or someone trying to steal the cookie and using cookie and login without using username and password. WAF is capable of detecting that, and it will help to protect the application. So with Barracuda WAF in place, you will have two ways of protection. One is from the outbound and one is from the inbound. Outbound, it's from anything going from the server to the outside, like when a client requesting some details, any details provided by the server, it's something it has to be protected as a outbound inspection. And anything the users tries to access from outside, there will have a inbound inspection. So we have a comprehensive application security which has protection from OWASP top 10. OWASP is a open organization which comes up with the top 10 web application attacks once in every 3 years. So WAF will be updated with continuous digital signatures to protect from the OWASP top 10 attacks. And it also has a proactive defense, so it can also do application cloaking. The first thing when a hacker wants to attack a web application, it's a reconnaissance. So during reconnaissance, they'll try to figure it out what type of web service is running, what type of server is running, and any information leakage to the HTTP or HTTPS error code. So WAF will actually cloak those information, hide those information to the users or the hacker, so that any information cannot be misused to gain or help them to attack in any means. And we can also have a Geoip control. So traffic originating from China or Russia or Israel. So I'm just giving an example. So admin can have an access or have this feature blocking traffic originating from a particular location. And any sensitive information which is provided by the server, so for an example, credit card numbers or any custom invoice custom pattern, so those things can be configured on the WAF, and admin can choose to like mask it, or they can encrypt it. So this will make sure anything sensitive data going out from the application server, it's secure. And this is the high level architecture of inbound and outbound traffic from the WAF. So whenever users try to access, this is the path, it will go to the WAF and go to the backend server. So these are the scanning layer of the Barracuda WAF. And what do you see above the Energize update? It's just the updates it is fetching from the Barracuda Central. So policy definition, security updates, and attack definition. So these are automatic updates. When and where there is a new security updates or attack definition updated in the Barracuda Central, automatically the appliance will fetch those information and get it applied. So there is a couple of scanning enabled on the WAF, one protocol termination and validation, and so there is a SSL offloading happening on the WAF itself. So the reason is the WAF has to decrypt the traffic, apply the policy, inspect it, and any so it will detect if any the traffic or any patterns of SQL injection, cross-site scripting, or any type of attack is happening. Then it will re-encrypt and send back to the backend server. That is how it works. So, and we can also enable authentication and an authorization. For an example, same web application server might be serving for the public, and with the same web application, the admin page, it's only accessible by the internal, but still it is published. So they can enable authentication, role-based authentication based on their LDAP. So only those who have authorization to access the admin page, once they enter the URL like website.com/admin page, it will be prompted for the username and password. This can be always integrated with the backend LDAP server or ADS or any type of authentication. And once it is authorized, then the user will be able to access to the backend server. And with the WAF, it has a built-in load balancing. Load balancing will does a failover backup or does a round robin fashion. So you can have multiple servers connecting to a WAF, and WAF will be able to do a basic load balancing between these backend servers. Once any data has been sent from the web server to the client, if it is providing any sensitive data like credit confirmation, invoice number, or any type of sensitive information, that can be customized on the WAF, and they can able to cloak it, or they can also encrypt the details and present to the client machine. So this is a very high level architecture of the WAF. If you have any questions, you can always post it on the Q&A session. And these are the overall attack profile on the WAF. So we have attack protection like SQL and cross-site scripting and CSR, website cloaking. So website cloaking, it's something very critical. So this is the first information the hacker used or gain any type of loophole present. For an example, so when someone tries to attack a web service, and known web service have this particular vulnerability, so upon scanning, this information will be revealed by the scanner. So the attackers, they use this vulnerability to gain access to their backend servers. So what WAF will do, it's like it will try to hide the information during reconnaissance stage, meaning any type it won't reveal what services the web services are using and what is the server version behind it, or any type of information leakage from the server. It will be cloaked. So this will actually protect from the reconnaissance level itself. Data theft is something for the outbound inspection. So any type of credit card or any custom patterns entered by the admin can be used, and the admin can have an option to encrypt the particular or mask the particular information when it is presented to the client side. And we also have a session protection, cookie encryption and parameter tampering protection. Cookie encryption is something like the hacker, after, for an example, if user opens in one tab, they are opening a banking application which is behind a WAF, and in other tab, he might open a phishing email. So this phishing email has a link to open requesting the user to change a username and password or something like that. So upon clicking that, what will happen, it automatically, there is a payload executed by the hacker, and it automatically steals a cookie from the backing website which is already open. So this cookie information will have the login for the username and password, and the hacker will have access to the cookie. So without using the username and password, the hacker can able to log into the backing as this genuine user using only the cookie. So that cookie, when we have a WAF in front of a web application, if it is encrypted, even if the hackers try to steal the cookie, he cannot use it, because it will be encrypted. The same way it will work for the parameter tampering. So any man in the middle or anyone trying to tamper whatever the user is trying to do, the WAF won't allow it, because it will be encrypted. And the Barracuda WAF, it has integrated antivirus engine, and which gets updates from the Energize update. So they have a dedicated virus engine in the cloud, and the updates will happen automatically. And any type of virus, even if it is infected on the user machine, it cannot even get inside the backend server. And it can also protect from the DOS. So we have advanced DOS protection. So the way, so the application, how it access, there will be a local IP on the backend server, and there is a virtual IP configured on the Barracuda WAF. And this virtual IP is netted on the perimeter firewall. So whenever the user access through the URL, which is have a DNS A record on the organization DNS manager. So what will happen? This DNS will point to the public IP on the perimeter firewall, and which will take you to the WAF and to the backend server. So with advanced DOS protection, what actually happens is the public IP will be configured on the Barracuda cloud. So when the user access, the DNS A record will be pointing to the Barracuda cloud public IP, and from there it will point to the companies or organization a public IP on their perimeter firewall, then it will go get into the WAF and go back to the backend server. So this way it will protect any type of DOS attacks. And IP reputation blocking, Barracuda has its own list of blacklisted IP. So any traffic originating from these IPs, it will be automatically blocked. And apart from this, the admin can customize any traffic generated from a particular geolocation. You can and block it. And you can always allow traffic originating from a particular countries. And it has a JSON security, XML firewall. You can have a web service security, and you can also integrate with any type of same solution you have. Okay, this is a very brief about the attack profiles with the Barracuda WAF. And this is an example of outbound protection. So without the outbound protection, especially for any sensitive data like the servers revealing any credit card numbers, social security numbers in case of US, and custom patterns. So in this region, we can always make the national ID, put national ID as our custom patterns, and if the admin can choose it whether to mask it or encrypt that information when presenting to the user side. And website cloaking, as I mentioned, so this is the first step when a attacker wants to hack a website. So this is the first step. Reconnaissance is the first step. They'll check. They'll scan for the web services or scan for any known vulnerabilities is there. So this will actually give advantage to the hackers. What type of web they're using, what type of databases, any known patches or known vulnerabilities existing, the hacker will use that vulnerabilities as a backdoor, and they'll try to gain access to the backend server. So this website cloaking actually protects or it hides those any information being leaked. So so anyone trying to access or does a reconnaissance, WAF will hide the what type of web server it's using, what type of app server, and what operating system the server is using, the version number, patch levels, any directory structures, and any known vulnerabilities. The WAF will able to cloak those information, even if it is presenting any HTTP or error codes. It can be cloaked so that any kind of sensitive information, it does not leak to the users or the hackers. And this is what I was referring in when I was talking about the application DDoS. So when a bot, the bot can be a hacker, or it can be from a competitor for a particular company, and they are hiring a bot and manipulating their web services or their servers. So what the WAF can do, it's like it can provide a captcha mechanism. If any traffic originating and the WAF suspects that it is coming from automated bot, it will be presented with the captcha. Only after the captcha validation is success, then it will give access to the backend server. And you can always enforce the geolocation. And any type of anonymous proxies or VPN users, the WAF will be able to detect it and protect it at the same time. And in the WAF, we have a detailed reporting. So what the image you are seeing, it is coming from the dashboard. So in the dashboard, we will be able to see what type of attack is there, and what is the time the attack has happened, and what is how many session happens during these interval and everything. And it can be integrated with the same tool like ArcSight, Splunk, and RSA Envision. And with the WAF, you have a couple of predefined templates to put it for an example, SAP and Exchange profiles or Oracle, or you can also have your own custom profile created, and you have a default profile for any web-based application. So the user or the admin can make use of the default template available, or they can, on top of the default template, they can customize their default template. And there is something with Barracuda, like pvm.barracudanetworks.com. It's a scan engine which is actually free for all the users. So this, you have two purposes. One is You can scan your web application and it will give you a report, and you can manually check for the report. The report will have findings and the remediation. So one thing, you can manually check the remediation and you can fix it, or we can integrate with the WAF, and WAF will try and fix whatever the scan report produced by the Barracuda Vulnerability Manager. And this is a sample report. So after the scan, we'll know what are the high risk, critical, medium, and low vulnerabilities, and each vulnerabilities will have the fix for how to fix the vulnerabilities. If it is integrated with the WAF, we can have automatic remediation. So this automatic remediation, after detecting any type of vulnerabilities, automatically the remediation will be fixed through the BVM. BVM offers the remediate vulnerabilities automatically on the Barracuda WAF. So fixing the vulnerabilities on the web services, it consumes resources, time, and cost. So with the WAF in front of it, it will just tweak a policy and make sure that that particular vulnerability is fixed. And you can also schedule the scan and schedule for the remediation fix. And this is something, it is not a limited version. It is totally free. Even if you're owning a Barracuda WAF and you're not owning a Barracuda WAF, you can simply make use of this feature. All you have to do is go to bvm.barracudanetworks.com, sign in for an account. You will get a confirmation email. Upon confirmation, you will be presented. You will be asked for the targeted web services to scan. So, but only one thing you'll have to prove that you own the particular domain. You cannot simply use BVM for scanning any third-party sites. We'll have to prove we have the ownership for the particular domain, either by confirming the email, or there are a couple of methods. So the BVM will guide you how to confirm your identity. So once you're done that, the scanning will start, and it will based on the size, number of static and dynamic pages your application or web services has. It does its scanning and gives you the detailed report in your email. And identity and access management. So we can enable authentication, authorization, and single sign-on. Single sign-on, if the user, like I mentioned, your backend web services might also be used for the web server admin. So if they are trying to access the same backend services using /admin or /login, so you can enable authentication, authorization on this for the same services. So only when the right user authorize himself to have access, the WAF will allow them to proceed with their access. And you can always get the single sign-on. If the user already logged in on their Windows using LDAP credentials, this will enable the single sign-on, fetch the credential, and it will automatically allow to the backend admin portal or login page, which requires authentication and authorization. And you can always have two-factor authentication with this token ID, client certificate, and SMS passcode. And we have a separate reporting for identity and access management, so that the admin can able to view who are all the user access the site which has authentication and authorization enabled. And as I mentioned, so we have acceleration and load balancing built into the WAF itself. So the WAF also has a caching mechanism. So there will be a web services will be cached on the WAF. So any static pages accessed by the user, the WAF is able to produce that static page. So this will actually increase the speed and the response time of your web services. And it has built-in layer 4, layer 7 load balancing mechanism for load balancing couple of multiple servers behind the particular services. And we can always do SSL offloading. So the reason is, this will actually offload the load on your backend server. If you have the SSL offloading on the WAF will consume, it requires some resource to decrypt the traffic and apply, inspect, and re-encrypt and send back to the backend server. So when the WAF does it, it will actually offload the load on the backend server. So you can have the SSL certificate on the Barracuda WAF, so that it does the SSL offloading, and traffic clear text, or it depends. We can send a clear text traffic to the backend server, or we can still send SSL traffic to the backend server. And we have TCP pooling and HTTP caching and content routing. So based on the content, if you have a single service and having a different backend servers, so we can create policies. For an example, xyz.com/login will take you to one service, and slash a particular page services will take to a couple of other backend services. So these all depends on how the content rule is being created on the WAF. And we have a seamless integration with the vulnerability existing scanner like IBM Apps Scan and Sensing. So these scanners we can integrate to the WAF. Any reports or any threats or vulnerabilities identified by the scanner, on we can automatically get it fixed on the WAF itself. And we can also integrate with the scanner through LDAP and radius authentication mechanism. So whenever a user try to access, we can always have the role-based permission and give access to the backend service. So this is the Barracuda Central, and on the firewall, you'll have to open a couple of ports to get their attack definition, security updates, and geolocation updates, and IP reputation. This IP reputation is something like IP blacklisted by the Barracuda itself. The reason we are having these updates on the cloud, Barracuda not only have WAF, they also have a couple of other security products like proxy appliance, web security gateway, mail security gateway, and next generation firewall, SLVPN, and load balancer. So all these appliances get these updates from the centralized cloud. So this centralized cloud will push updates like the threat definition and security definition to the various appliances. And not only that, on the cloud, Barracuda has this ATP sandboxing. So the sandboxing, it's used for the zero-day prevention, like ransomware. So any file is being downloaded by the user, the file is sent to the ATP and does it analysis, and then only if it is genuine, not malicious, it will be presented to the users. So this way it will protect any type of zero-day attacks. And as I mentioned, everything have it in a single platform. You have security and DDoS protection. You have load balancing, server health monitoring, logging, reporting, authentication and access control, SSL offloading and performance acceleration, and you have a session persistence using a single WAF. And as per NSS Lab report, Barracuda WAF has a 99.97% of protection comparing to the competitor. This is a technical report and done by the NSS Labs. So advantage of having Barracuda WAF, it's like you have continuous protection, whether it is SQL injection, cross-site scripting, session spoofing, brute force attack, forceful browsing, and you can also protect from the outbound like sensitive information presented by the servers. And you have a powerful authentication and authorization with third-party integration for the two-factor authentication. And you can always have an accelerated application performance because of the HTTP content caching and layer 4, layer 7 load balancing. So these are the various model. We have WAF supporting for 1 to 5 servers up to 600 servers. So based on the requirement, you can go for the particular model. And up to model 460, you can have active and passive HA, and model 660 and above, you can have active model. So WAF can be in WAF is supported in 3 models. One is hardware, other is a virtual appliance, and the third one is on the cloud. So based on your requirement, if you have already resources on the cloud like Azure or Amazon, you can always go for the Barracuda WAF on the cloud. And with hardware, Barracuda is the only vendor having a hardware refresh, meaning every 4 years, so if you continue renewing Barracuda subscription, at the end of 4th year, you will get a same model. For an example, if a customer buys model 660, and today it supports up to 25 servers and 200 Mbps throughput. After 4 years, the same 660 might support up to 50 servers, and the throughput might be, they have increased the RAM, memory, and everything on the same model. So the customer will get the same model with upgraded features free of cost. So all you have to do is make sure they have the subscription continued for 4 years, and end of 4 years they'll get a better and upgraded same model free of cost. This is something no other vendor is offering. Yeah, so with this feature list, if you have any queries, you can let me know. Or you can put it on the Q&A session. And yes, so I'll show you a small demo. So this is an online demo. You can have a look at it by going through this URL. So in this, we cannot change anything, but you can always have the look and feel of the WAF. So this is the dashboard. You can see performance stats on the right, and you can see attack origin based on the map, countries, traffic. So you can move over the mouse and see how many attacks been originated from the geolocation. And here you can see the subscription status. And Energize update, it's the one which gets the basic definition updates from the Barracuda Central. And you have this active DDoS protection and bot protection subscription. And you can see the number of attacks, how many attacks, and how many it's been in the last hour. So it is all, you can select which, how many session tampering attacks, and you can filter over here also. And this is the CPU utilization and memory utilization on the WAF. So you can customize, you can also have your own widgets on the dashboard. So these are the scale. So you can customize this and you can have your own dashboard based on whatever is your requirement. And this is the BVM I was referring. So all you have to do is you just create an account over here. Once the account is created, you will get a confirmation, and upon confirming your email address, all you have to go here is click on new scan, put a scan name, test, and you can put the URL. So xyz.com. So this domain has not been verified. For security purpose, you must verify the domain. So these are the various way you can verify the domain. Either you can send an email, you should own an email with this domain. So what will happen, it will send a confirmation link to this email. Upon clicking confirm, then the scan will start. So before confirming, you cannot scan any third party, or there is a file, you will have to create a text file and put it on the backend server. So when before initiating the scan, the scanner will check whether the file is present and check its authenticity, then it will start scanning. So you can have multiple way of confirming your domain. And if it is a static page without any authentication, you can simply click on start scan, and based on number of pages, static pages, it will take it to its own time. And if you want to use which type of agents or browser, you can always select over here. You can scan using Chrome, Safari, or using the mobile site, or using a custom browser. Or if your application has authentication, you can always press on the HTTP authentication to scan after authenticating to their to your application. There is HTTP and there is HTML form based authentication. And if you want to exclude any particular page, you can exclude URL patterns over here, any file extension, or you can also exclude IP addresses over here. Once you give all information, just simply click on start. It will be scanned. Now, once I click on start scan, okay. So once I click on it, it will show like waiting for verification. So once I confirm using that particular email address, I'll receive an email address asking for the confirmation. So I click, automatically the scanning will start and it will give you a report. So I can able to show you some scans. So these are all the scan done. So you can see a number of vulnerabilities over here, and how many. For details, you just click on view reports. It will give you a detailed report. So this, you have OWASP top 10 issue, PCI DSS, and HIPAA. Based on the complaints, you have a report. And these are the top findings. There is a open TCP UDP for port found, and you have a click jacking enabled, HTTP options whether enabled, password that sent unencrypted, and sensitive file found. So likewise, you'll have detailed reports here saying what is the issue background, what is the issue remediation. So this is where you can get the CVSS link for the particular vulnerabilities identified. So once this is linked on the WAF, you can always do the fix. So this is the web firewall logs. So as you see, there are some SQL injection in the parameter, so you can always go and see the detail of the attack. So this will show you what kind of SQL injection in the parameter, and this is the parameter being used inside where the attack has been initiated. So if it is from a genuine source, you can always fix. When click on fix, it will add an exception from this IP and create exception rule for the particular service. So since it's a genuine attack, it is not recommended to click on fix. So it will be better to keep it denied. And you have the access log accessing. You can see the traffic generated from the source IPs or the geolocation from here. You can see the location in the logs itself. So these are the various IPs and location where we got a hit or user accessing from there. And we have reports. We have predefined reports. Reports can be automatically sent to the targeted email, or you can check what type of report you want. Click on show report, it will show at the instant. So there is a good port, bad port, and uncategorized. Okay, so you can always have this access, and for checking the look and feel of the WAF, and you can always use BVM for scanning your web application. If you want to go for trial, you can always reach me out, and I can help you to setting up a demo plans in your environment. So I think that's it from me. If you have any questions, you can always post it on the Q&A session. If not, if you can always write to us, and we'll be happy to engage with you personally, and we can take it forward. If we have no more questions, I think we can conclude the session today. Thank you for joining today's session. Yeah, what are the anti-bot mechanism used here? Barracuda has their own proprietary, so which is on the cloud. So I can share you this information. I can able to mail you the information. Okay, we have a separate case study for anti-bot, so I can able to share the details over the mail. I think there is no more questions. So if you have any, you can always write to us, and we'll be happy to help you.